Hi everybody, happy Friday. It's Maggie here again from Lutheran Counseling Services, offering you a suggestion for a family movie night. Today I'm talking about another one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's Frozen 2. I went to see it in theaters and I remember thinking just how many lessons are in there for both kids and adults. It's available on Disney Plus. I think it's a great movie for kids of all ages, and I'm going to offer you some lessons that I learned watching the movie, as well as some discussion questions and a little activity. Now, if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch this video ahead of time. I'm going to give some spoilers, but it should be a really fun movie to watch with your family, and I hope that I'm able to make a whole family night out of it with you. So, first, I'm going to talk about 4 big lessons that I found in Frozen 2. And the first one is how to deal with anxiety. So throughout the movie, we see all of the different characters struggling with feelings of fear and anxiety and learning how to cope with those feelings. A big time this comes up is in the very beginning of the movie when Elsa starts hearing that voice singing to her. And she struggles to decide whether or not to follow that voice into the unknown, or to stay where she's comfortable and where her family is. She seems anxious and even afraid to follow this voice, but something inside her keeps telling her that she needs to go. So what does she do? She leans on Anna for support. She talks about what she's experiencing, and with the help of her support system, she decides to go out into the unknown and see what she can do to help. The second big lesson that I found in Frozen 2 was how to deal with grief, sadness, and even depression. Now, this is a big topic for a children's movie, but I think that Anna does something really powerful when she's dealing with this. So later in the movie, we see that Elsa has gotten frozen, Olaf has gone away, and Anna is on her own. She's feeling intense sadness, loss, grief, even depression. And she begins to sing a song, which I think has some important lessons in it. At one point, she sings, "I won't look too far ahead. It's too much for me to take. But break it down to this next breath, this next step, this next choice is one I can make." And I think that that's important to remember when we're feeling intense feelings of sadness, loss, grief, even anxiety and fear. Sometimes we can feel paralyzed and hopeless, maybe like there's nothing we can do. But if we take a moment to breathe, ground ourselves, and focus on the next step, the next choice right ahead of us, we're able to make momentum forward. And later in this video, I'm going to share one of my favorite grounding techniques with you that the whole family can use when they're beginning to feel overwhelmed with different emotions. The third big lesson that this movie taught us was that our fear can't always be trusted. So we see this first in the movie with Olaf. At one point, he's wandering around alone in the enchanted forest, and he encounters all of these sort of spooky characters and creatures. Different things keep happening, and he's singing to himself to try and not be afraid. Now, singing to ourselves when we're afraid might be really, really helpful. But later in the movie, we come to find out that these characters and creatures that he was so afraid of become friends. In fact, he even names this wind spirit Gale and develops a close bond with it. This kind of goes to show that just because we're afraid of something doesn't mean that it's bad and doesn't mean that we shouldn't try and experience it. Lots of times when we're afraid, we have opportunities to grow and get outside of our comfort zone. Another point we see this in the movie is with Elsa. In fact, Elsa struggles with fear throughout the movie. She's afraid to step out of her comfort zone and go out into the unknown. She's afraid of trying to get across that sea that we see in the movie. She's afraid of a lot of things, but at one point she says, "Fear is what can't be trusted." And at the end of the movie, we see Elsa is much happier and has a new sense of belonging, all because she was brave and stepped away from her comfort zone and into the unknown. Sometimes we have to do what scares us to become who we want to be. And this was absolutely true for Elsa throughout the movie, who ended up gaining new authenticity and new power as a result of doing the things she was afraid of. So the last big lesson I saw in Frozen 2 was to find your true self and be authentic. Midway through the movie, we learn that Elsa is the fifth element. She is what bridges the gap between nature's magic and the people she loves. She's guided through an ice cavern with the help of her mother, and she discovers in there the true nature and beauty of her powers. By the end of the movie, with everything that's happened, she finds her place is with the Northoldra people, and she seems happy and comfortable in this new environment. She's able to build truer, healthier, more authentic relationships with the people she loves. And this is true for us too. Sometimes we can feel the need to be different around our friends or our family, at school or at home. But when we're able to be our true, authentic selves, that's when we feel the happiest, and that's when our relationships are the healthiest. So now I've put together some discussion questions that you and your family can talk about after watching this movie to dive further into these lessons that we've learned. Last, I have an activity for everyone. I call this Be Where Your Feet Are, and it's a basic grounding technique that can help you a lot when you're feeling intense emotions like fear, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, anything that you're having trouble dealing with. Feel free to print this out and post it anywhere that would be helpful for you, and make this grounding technique a part of your daily practice to live a healthier, happier life. Be sure to stay tuned for our future family movie night videos, and check out our social media for other videos on self-care and coping skills. Thank you guys so much, and as always, if there's any way we can be better supporting you, don't hesitate to reach out.